This summer, Metro Atlanta's housing market didn't just slow down, it broke its rhythm. Out of 67,000 homes listed, only about 17,000 sold. That's a sell-through rate of 25%, meaning 3 out of every 4 homes never found a buyer. Compare that to the national number, 27.6% of homes sold nationwide, and you realize Atlanta is slipping further behind. And the slowdown isn't just about sales volume. Homes are sitting longer, with the median Atlanta property spending 34 days on the market. That's the longest summer stretch since 2012, when the country was still clawing out of the Great Recession. Behind these numbers lurks a deeper question. Is Atlanta facing a temporary cool down, or the early signals of something much more serious? The first force reshaping this market is affordability, or the lack of it. Home prices remain high, inflated by the pandemic's buying frenzy. During that period, bidding wars and all-cash offers became normal. But even as the frenzy faded, prices never fully corrected. Then came the mortgage shock. Interest rates, still double what they were in 2021, mean monthly payments have exploded. A home that cost $1,200 a month just a few years ago now eats up $2,400, sometimes even more. And wages? They haven't kept pace. Even as housing costs surge, most incomes rose only slightly. That gap has left families locked out. This affordability squeeze creates a paradox. On paper, inventory is coming back. Sellers are listing homes again, and new construction is hitting the market. But for the average family in Atlanta, that supply is out of reach. So while homes are technically available, they're not truly accessible. That leaves buyers stuck, sellers frustrated, and the market clogged with listings that linger. The illusion of choice masks the reality of exclusion. The second force is economic uncertainty, and it's casting a long shadow over buyer confidence. Families aren't just deciding if they can afford a house. They're deciding if they should buy one in the first place. Inflation has pushed up the cost of nearly everything: gas, groceries, utilities, childcare. These daily expenses eat into budgets that once had room for a mortgage. Add in shaky job markets and frequent layoff headlines, and the sense of stability weakens even more. When people worry about whether their paycheck will be there next month, the idea of committing to a 30-year mortgage feels reckless. For many households, buying a home is the single largest financial commitment of their lives. And in an environment where tomorrow feels uncertain, the safest choice is often to wait. That hesitation rippled across Atlanta this summer. Traditionally, the months of May through August are the prime season for buying and selling homes. Instead, thousands of would-be buyers stayed on the sidelines, unsure of what the economy will bring next. This fear is invisible in listings and sales numbers, but it explains why those numbers are weaker than expected. The shadow of the broader economy is powerful enough to turn the busiest buying season into one of the slowest in years. The third force is failed contracts. In July, Atlanta recorded the fourth highest rate of home purchase cancellations in the entire United States. That means deals are falling apart even after buyers make offers and sellers accept them. Why are contracts collapsing? Inspections often uncover unexpected costs that buyers can't or won't take on. Loan approvals collapse when interest rates rise between pre-qualification and closing. Sometimes buyers simply get cold feet, realizing the long-term cost feels too risky. Each failed contract leaves a ripple behind. Sellers are left scrambling, forced to relist and often accept lower offers. Buyers walk away disillusioned, worried that the market is stacked against them. Realtors and builders lose time and money on transactions that never close. This growing pattern reflects instability. Instead of clean closings, the pipeline is leaking, and the more it leaks, the more uncertain the entire market becomes. The fourth force is what we'll call the inventory illusion. On paper, Atlanta has 4.6 months of inventory. That's much higher than the historic lows of the pandemic, when finding a home felt like winning the lottery. But here's the catch. Economists generally say 6 months of supply equals a balanced market. At 4.6, Atlanta is still short. That means buyers scrolling through listings see plenty of options. But the reality is, sellers still have leverage. The mismatch creates frustration. Homes don't fly off the shelf like they did 2 years ago, but they're not cheap enough to lure in the buyers who've been priced out. Instead, they linger. And as days on market climb, price reductions become inevitable. It's not oversupply, it's not undersupply, it's imbalance, an illusion that things are better than they really are. Let's zoom in on resale homes. Ryan Marshall, the CEO of Atlanta-based Polk Group, recently told business leaders that resale conditions are some of the strongest he's seen in the last 4 to 5 years. That optimism stands in sharp contrast to the numbers: long days on market, high cancellation rates, an affordability crunch squeezing buyers out of the process. The truth is this: the resale sector shows us a paradox. Yes, inventory is back. Yes, homes are out there. But demand isn't matching supply. And without buyers willing to pull the trigger, strong becomes a relative term. For homeowners who expected quick sales, the current environment feels like a rude awakening. Now let's head to the suburbs, where new construction tells another story. During the pandemic, builders raced to meet demand. They bought land, poured foundations, and rolled out entire new neighborhoods across metro Atlanta. But today, that gamble looks riskier. With buyers slowed by rates and affordability, traffic to model homes has thinned. To lure buyers, builders are offering mortgage rate buydowns, closing cost credits, and even free upgrades. These incentives reveal the truth. Supply is abundant, but qualified demand is scarce. The suburban case study proves how quickly optimism can fade when financing costs rise. Atlanta isn't alone. Nationally, about 27.6% of listings sold this summer. That's slightly stronger than Atlanta's 25%, but still a weak showing for what should be the hottest season of the year. Other fast-growth metros like Phoenix, Austin, and Tampa mirror the same trends. Longer days on market, hesitant buyers, higher cancellation rates. This proves Atlanta isn't an outlier. It's simply one of the clearest early warning systems of a national shift. Behind these forces are policy shocks, decisions made far from Atlanta that ripple into every local neighborhood. Federal Reserve interest rate hikes between 2022 and 2024 doubled mortgage payments for average buyers. A rate that once secured a $300,000 home now barely qualifies you for $200,000. Local zoning and permitting delays in Georgia kept affordable projects from moving forward, limiting supply in the price ranges where buyers need it most. And federal tax debates around mortgage interest and property deductions injected further uncertainty. The timeline matters. Rate hikes in 2022 slowed affordability. Zoning debates in 2023 throttled supply. Inventory shifts in 2024 left us where we are in 2025. More homes for sale, fewer buyers able to act. These shocks didn't happen in isolation. Together, they form the storm system hovering over Atlanta today. Investors, once a major force in Atlanta, are also shifting gears. Institutional buyers, the Wall Street funds that bought thousands of homes after the last housing crash, are pulling back. They're waiting for signs of distress, price drops, foreclosures, or desperate sellers, before re-entering. Small mom-and-pop investors face higher borrowing costs. The math on rental properties no longer pencils out as easily, especially with slowing rent growth. This creates a vacuum. Fewer cash buyers means households face less competition, but it also means fewer floor prices under the market. Without investor demand, sellers lose one of their most reliable exit strategies. What happens in Atlanta rarely stays in Atlanta. Florida's metros, already hammered by insurance crises, are seeing similar buildups in inventory. Texas cities like Dallas and Houston are mirroring Atlanta's affordability walls. And in North Carolina's Triangle region, absorption rates are slowing as cautious buyers hold back. The ripple effects suggest a broader southern cooling. The Sun Belt, once the hottest migration destination in America, is seeing the first real signs of fatigue. So what does diligence look like in a market like this? Whether you're a buyer, seller, or operator, here's a 5-point checklist. 1. Run affordability scenarios. Don't just budget for today's mortgage rate. Test what happens if rates climb another 1 or 2%. 2. Track days on market. If a home lingers past 30 days, use that leverage in negotiations. 3. Inspect financing contingencies. Protect yourself against last-minute loan failures that could derail your deal. 4. Watch cancellation rates. If they rise in your area, expect sellers to become more flexible on terms. 5. Focus on fundamentals. Neighborhood quality, job growth, and schools still matter more than short-term swings. Discipline beats doom. In markets like this, caution isn't a weakness, it's survival. Atlanta's housing market is not collapsing, but it is recalibrating. The doom headlines capture attention, but the diligence checklist keeps you prepared. Ryan Marshall may be right. This isn't the worst housing market in history, but for buyers, sellers, and investors, it may be the most unpredictable in over a decade. And in that uncertainty lies both risk and opportunity.